No one entered Avarah by accident. The road to the land curved strangely, as though it resisted travelers. Trees leaned inward, their branches tangled like fingers whispering secrets. Birds never sang there. Even the wind seemed to pass in silence. But people lived in Avarah. They laughed, traded in the market, raised children, yet something was wrong. It wasn't obvious at first. It never is. In Avarah, people didn't dream anymore. Not the kind of sleep dreams, but dreams of purpose, hope, tomorrow. A strange heaviness sat on everyone's chest. Arguments were common. Kindness was rare. Smiles existed, but they felt practiced. And no one remembered when it started. Daniel was not from Avarah. He arrived one evening, dusty from travel, carrying nothing but a small bag and an old, worn-out Bible. The moment he stepped into the land, he paused. He felt it, that silent weight. Most people would have turned back. But Daniel didn't. "Lord," he whispered, "this is the place, isn't it?" No thunder replied, no dramatic sign, just a quiet knowing. The first night, he stared at a small hut owned by a widow named Abby. She was kind, but tired. Not physically. Her eyes told a deeper story. "People don't stay long here," she told him as she served him food. "If they do, they change." Daniel looked at her gently. Or maybe they've never met something strong enough to change the place. She almost smiled. Days passed. Daniel walked through the town, observing. He noticed strange patterns. Neighbors lived side by side but never truly connected. Children played, but their laughter faded too quickly. Every conversation seemed to end in irritation or misunderstanding. It wasn't normal. This wasn't just behavior. It was influence. One evening, in the center of the village, a heated argument broke out between two brothers over land that neither truly needed. The crowd gathered, shouting, fueling the anger. Daniel stepped forward. "Stop." It wasn't loud, but it carried authority. The brothers froze, not because of fear, but because something in his voice felt different. Peaceful, real. "You're not fighting each other," Daniel said quietly. "You're fighting what has been planted inside you." The crowd murmured. One man scoffed. "Stranger, you don't understand this land." Daniel looked around slowly. "No," he said, "I understand it too well." That night, Daniel didn't sleep. He prayed, not casually, not softly. He prayed like someone standing between light and darkness. "Father, this is not just a land, it's a stronghold. But no darkness is stronger than you. Let your light enter, through me if you must." The atmosphere shifted, not dramatically, but subtly, like the first crack of dawn after a long night. The next day, something unusual happened. Abby, the widow, woke up, lighter. For the first time in years, she sang while sweeping. She stopped halfway, confused. "Why do I feel like this?" she whispered. Then it spread. Not like noise, but like quiet fire. A man who had held grudges for years suddenly felt the urge to apologize. A child who never spoke much began to laugh freely. Two neighbors shared a meal without suspicion. No one could explain it, except Daniel. But darkness doesn't leave without a fight. That night, the heaviness returned, stronger. People woke up angry again. Fear crept back in. Doubt whispered louder. And this time, it focused on Daniel. "Send him away," voices began to say. "Since he came, things have become unstable. He is the problem." A small crowd gathered outside Abby's hut. Daniel stepped out calmly. He looked at them, not with fear, but with compassion. "You've lived with this darkness so long. It feels like home," he said. "So when light comes, it feels like a disturbance." Silence. A young boy stepped forward. "Are you saying we've been living in darkness all this time?" Daniel knelt before him. "Yes," he said gently. But you don't have to stay there. Then Daniel did something unexpected. He didn't argue. He didn't preach loudly. He simply began to worship. Softly, no instruments, just his voice. At first, it seemed foolish. But then, something broke. Not outside, inside people. Tears began to fall. Hearts softened. Long buried pain surfaced. Because where true light enters, darkness cannot pretend anymore. Abby fell to her knees. I remember, she cried. I wasn't always like this. I used to love people. I used to feel God. One by one, others followed. Repentance filled the air. Real repentance. Not out of fear, but awakening. And just like that, the hold of darkness shattered. Not completely in one moment, but enough. Enough for light to take root. Weeks later, Avarah was different. Not perfect, but alive. People greeted each other genuinely. Children laughed without restraint. Homes felt lighter. And in the center of the village, something new began, a gathering. Not just of people, but of hearts. One morning, Daniel prepared to leave. Abby stood beside him. Why are you going? She asked. He smiled. Because the light is no longer coming from me. He looked at her, and at the others gathering nearby. It's now inside you. As he walked away, the land behind him no longer felt heavy. The trees stood upright. The wind moved freely. And for the first time in years, a bird sang. Message. Darkness doesn't always look like evil. It often looks like normal life without God. But one true light, fully yielded, can awaken an entire land.